What's good, y'all, and welcome to my review for Shazam! Fury of the Gods. Just finished watching it, man, and overall, I enjoyed the movie. It was a good movie overall. Definitely a huge downgrade from the first movie, which I think I gave the original Shazam! My review like a 9.5 or like a 9 out of 10. This one's definitely way lower than that movie, but yeah, it was still overall a good movie in its own right, and I overall enjoyed my time while watching it. So without further ado, let's just jump right in. So the movie is directed by David Sandberg and stars Grace Caroline, Rachel Ziegler, Zachary Levi, Asher Angel, Jack Daniel Grazer, and many more. And the plot of Shazam! Fury of the Gods is bestowed with the power of good. Billy Batson and his fellow foster kids are still learning how to juggle teenage life with adult superhero alter egos. But when the vengeful trio of ancient gods arrive on Earth in search of a magic stolen from long ago, Shazam and his allies get thrust into a battle for the superpowers, their lives, and the fate of the world. Now, first, I gotta say that it is a positive movie. First off, I love the redesigned suits. I don't know if I mentioned this in my trailer reactions too, when I was doing trailer reactions for Shazam 2, but I love the redesigned suits. I think they look a lot better than they did in the first movie. And like the suits in the first movie still look pretty good, but I definitely prefer the look of them in the second movie. Secondly, Rachel Ziegler. Hot damn, she fine. Listen, bro. Listen, bro. I'm not gonna front with y'all. She fine as hell, bro. While I was watching the movie, I was like, God damn. But yeah, she is a very attractive woman. But in all seriousness, she was great in the movie as well. The cast overall was great as well as they were in the first movie, man. Zachary Levi is, of course, great once again as Shazam. But without a doubt, the standout of the cast is Jack Daniel Grazer as Freddy. I don't know if I mentioned this or if I said this in my original review of the first Shazam movie, but Freddy steals the show, man. I'm pretty sure this was the same for the first movie because I remember definitely him being one of the best parts of the first movie was Freddy, man. I loved his character, and that once again pays true in this movie, man. He easily steals the show, every time he's on screen, man. And he honestly, Loki, kind of carries the movie a little bit because not only do I just like his arc and what goes on with his character was definitely the best part of the movie's plot, but Jake Daniel Grazer goes fucking off in this movie. Like, his performance was way better than it had any right to be for this kind of movie. Like, the kid's out here trying to go for a fucking Oscar, bro. Like, his performance really surprised, man, and his performance was phenomenal. Easily the best out of the cast, man, was him, man. He was the MVP, man, and easily stole the show, man. But to continue on what I was saying, I love the relationship that builds throughout the movie between Freddy and, of course, Annie, the new girl that also gets introduced in this movie as well, man, played by Rachel Ziegler. I love the relationship, man, and I overall liked how it went down, and those two were great, man. That was easily the best part of the movie, whenever Freddy was on screen, man. He was easily the best part of the movie, and whenever we see his arc and his characterization is easily the best part in terms of this year's plot. Another thing I gotta say, I overall really liked David Sandberg's directing this movie, man. Like, there are some scenes, especially like when we see like the buildings shift around and other scenes like that, where his directing really stands out. Now, and I'm not gonna lie, there's some shots that go hard in like the last fight, man, inside the baseball stadium, man. Like, there's some shots in there that straight up go hard, man. Like, oh my god, there were some beautiful shots in the movie, man. So shout out to him, man, and of course as well the cinematographer as well, man, because those shots looked really fucking cool, man. They look really fucking cool. And I think that's all I got in terms of pros. I'm not trying to make it seem like this movie's terrible, though. Like I said, I did overall enjoy it, man, but yeah, there isn't really that much going for me. Like I said, Freddy kind of does most of the heavy lifting in this movie and kind of carries this movie in a sense, man, because without a doubt, he was the best part of the movie was Freddy. But first thing I gotta say that I had a problem with this movie is, first of all, the screenplay. Now, first and foremost, we gotta talk about the comedy. Now, you guys know me. You guys know that a lot of people have been dissing and kind of criticizing MCU-style comedy in more recent years with some of the more recent films and phases. Me personally, you guys know I've never really had that much of an issue to it. I've always enjoyed the MCU's type of comedy. The only time I really had an issue with it was in Shang-Chi with the plane joke that went on for way too goddamn long, kind of ruined the scene that was right before that. While Shang was giving his backstory. That's about the only times I've ever had a problem with the MCU-style comedy. But this movie, man, I'm gonna be real, the comedy in this movie is kind of cringe. Like, first of all, the truck, I just threw a truck out at a dragon line is thankfully cut from the movie, but there are still a couple different lines that are similar to that one that don't really hit, man. But I will say this, man, when the comedy hits, it hits. Like there were still a handful of times where I was bursting out laughing at some of the jokes, man. Like there are some really funny moments in this movie, man, but the movie definitely does miss way more than it hits. And another thing is just the story itself and just the overall villains just isn't as interesting in the first one, because one of the main things that made the first movie so interesting and so beloved was, of course, focusing on Billy Batson, his relationship and him dealing with him being abandoned by his parents and all that shit, trying to go through the foster family and all that, dealing with like his abandonment issues and all that. That's what made the first movie so special. And none of that is here in the sequel, man, which makes sense because, of course, that was his arc in the first movie, and of course now he's grown by past, but there are parts in this movie, man, where they do kind of go back to that, and they do sort of start to expand a little bit, but they're very small and very far and in between, man. Like I think if we focus more on what made the first movie special, or at the very least just gave us just better villains in general, man, the movie would have been way better off, man, because the story and overall characterization in this movie isn't that interesting, man. And I already mentioned how the comedy's kind of cringe in the movie, man. Like I said, there are moments where I was laughing, but the movie was getting way more missed than hits when it came to the comedy in the movie, man. But so yeah, the story and just the story overall just isn't up to par to what the first movie was, and that's kind of like my biggest critique with the movie is the plot just isn't all that. The screenplay, it's kind of mid. I'm not gonna lie, it's kind of mid. You know, I was not really too that well invested in the story. Like I said, Freddy was the best part of the movie. Like whenever he was on screen, whenever we were doing Freddy, man, that when the movie soared, man. That was when the movie was at its best with Freddy. Everything else, man, just wasn't all that interesting, at least to me personally. Although one thing I did forget to mention that was pretty funny though is actually David Sandberg. He actually does have a quick cameo in the movie, man, and it was pretty funny when I saw him in there, man. So that was pretty cool to see that he actually got a cameo in the movie. That was pretty cool to see. But anyway, back to what I was saying. That's about like the only like major critique that was probably my biggest problem was definitely the screenplay, man. I just didn't think it was up to par for where it should be, especially in comparison to the first movie, man, which that movie was really good, and of course the story and the characterization with Billy Batson was phenomenal, man. Now, would I recommend you guys check this movie out? Now, obviously, if you guys are like a hardcore DCEU fan like I am, you've already seen the movie. But for everyone else, if you were someone that liked the first Shazam movie, I would recommend you guys check this movie out, because I think you guys will still probably end up enjoying it regardless. If you were someone that wasn't that big on the first Shazam movie, this movie definitely is not going to change your mind. However, I would like to still see a Shazam 3. I don't know if we are going to get a Shazam 3, given, you know, change management and everything with James Gunn or anything. The post-credit scene makes it seem like that we might be getting a Shazam 3, or we might see more of Shazam in the future, perhaps. I'm not sure. Don't know when these were shot, and if James Gunn had any like plans and all that stuff, man, given when this movie was made and everything, man, where the DCU was then compared to where it is now. But I would still be down for Shazam 3, because I think there is potential with this series, man, and I would like to see more of it. I just hope that for the third movie they can just get better writers and more Freddy screen time, because clearly he's the best part of these movies, man. It's Freddy. But yeah, man. As always, I'm gonna do a spoiler discussion, guy. I'm gonna give my final verdict, which we're gonna talk more about the post-credit scenes and a couple other things that I wanted to talk about, man. But overall, man, my final verdict for Shazam: Fury of the Gods will be a 7 out of 10, which I think makes this my least favorite DCEU movie. Guess something finally defeated BVS, the theatrical cut anyway. BVS is my least favorite DCU movie. Took up until the very end to finally get the movie dethroned. But yeah, man. As I mentioned before, this is where we're going to get into spoilers, guys. So you guys do not want to get spoiled, leave now and come back after you guys have seen the movie. And there is both a post-credit scene and a mid-credit scene. I want to mention that real quick in case you guys didn't know that. So anyway, let's just jump right in. Now, first things first, I want to talk about, man. Oh, one other thing I've already mentioned this. A quick little Easter egg that I noticed. I already mentioned how about David Sandberg gets a cameo, man, which is pretty cool to see. But also in the movie, man, there's actually one of the villains actually calls Shazam Captain Marvel, which I thought was interesting, because if you guys know, Shazam originally, when he was first introduced in the comics back in like the 40s or whatever, he was called Captain Marvel, but due to like lawsuits and whatever the fuck happened when DC acquired all that shit, DC eventually lost the rights to Captain Marvel. Marvel picked it up, they did their Captain Marvel, and now the original Captain Marvel is now been regulated just being called Shazam. So yeah, so that was pretty cool to see, man. That was pretty cool to see. But one other thing that I had a major problem with the movie, that I didn't want to mention this because this was spoiler. Well, I guess you would say it's not technically a spoiler because it was in the TV spots and trailers recently, but it should have been, is why the fuck was Wonder Woman put in the trailers? Why was I seeing clips of Wonder Woman pop up on the DC official Twitter account for TV spots of this movie, man, popping on my Twitter feed? Why would you spoil that, man? Why would you spoil Wonder Woman getting a cameo, man? And it kind of sucks because this is most likely Gal Gadot's last time playing Wonder Woman, unless James Gunn decides to bring her back. But I guess still fuck Henry Cavill for whatever reason. Whatever, I digress. So and also apparently, from what we heard, the Wonder Woman cam that was going to be in the Flash got cut out like 5 months ago. So this might end up being her final appearance in the DCU, man. And I wish they kept it a surprise rather than putting in the TV spots. I guess it's a last ditch effort to get more ticket sales or something, which kind of suspect because I saw it. So I was like, oh, Wonder Woman's in the movie, cool. But I would have preferred if I didn't know, man. But I will say, when she pops up, they actually play her theme, and I was honestly kind of conflicted because on the one hand, whenever I hear Hans Zimmer's Wonder Woman theme, bro, I'm hyped. Bro, I'm hyped. I have the biggest smile on my face because, oh my god, does that theme go fucking hard, bro. Bro, when Wonder Woman showed up in BVS, bro, oh my goodness, bro. One of the best moments in comic book cinema, man. One of the best moments in comic book films entirely, man. When that woman shows up, man, in BVS and the theme is playing, bro, when Hans Zimmer's going fucking off, bro, oh my god, it's peak cinema, bro. Peak cinema. But when you have it here, man, when it's just her getting the magical staff to resurrect Shazam, it just doesn't really fit the scene, kind of. I'm like, I want to get hyped for this, but this is not, but the music ain't matching the scene. But it was still pretty cool to see Gal Gadot. If this is the last time we see Gal Gadot, hey, let's go. Although apparently she wasn't even actually there, they actually deep-faked her face, and I guess she did voiceover. She wasn't actually on set apparently, because I could have swore I saw some behind-the-scenes footage where it was actually just some random woman that was playing Wonder Woman, and they just like deep-faked Gal Gadot's face. And I don't know if they did or not. It looked really good if they did. It looked really good if they actually did deep-fake her face onto Wonder Woman for the movie. I don't know why she couldn't just go on set, but whatever. Maybe they wanted to try and keep it a surprise from now. Fucking hell. But hopefully we do see her in Flash. I would like to see her one last time in Flash, because I think it would probably be, I think she would have a better a cameo in that movie compared to this, man, but that's just me, man. I would love to just see Gal Gadot one more time and maybe have the Wonder Woman theme have a scene that fits a little bit better than, her grabbing a staff and resurrecting. But it was still pretty cool to see her, man. I just wish this wasn't shown off in the trailers, the TV spots recently, man. I just wish they didn't put this out in the advertisements. Now let's talk about the post-credit scene. First off, for the mid-credit scene, where we have, dyed beard, I forget his name, and the woman who you guys know is James Gunn's like fiance or whatever, girlfriend, coming in there to recruit Shazam into the Justice Society of America. Now, interesting thing is, if you guys probably saw the clips of Zachary Levi mentioning that he wanted to bring Black Adam and the Justice Society into the movie, man, and they were denied, which I think we all can agree that Black Adam was the far superior movie compared to the two, man. And I don't know if this is the compromise they came up with, or what happened here, man. Maybe this was shot last minute by James Gunn to maybe see to bring in Shazam into his new DCU, whatever the case may be on that. But they recruit him, and yeah, that seems pretty cool, man. And he goes on about different names, like, oh, it sounds similar to the Justice League. You should call it something else. And then he says like the Avengers Society, which I'm not gonna lie, I laughed at that, man. You also had, of course, there was the little black girl with the unicorns and say, taste the rainbow, motherfuckers. That was pretty funny as well. Just her, just like, when the unicorn comes out there, she just throws Skittles. That was pretty funny, man. I'm not gonna lie. When I saw it, I'm like, bro, this is so fucking stupid. But it got me to laugh, man. So, yeah. So that was the post-credit scene. The mid-credit scene, rather. So, yeah. I like the mid-credit scene, man. It was cool to see, the Peacemaker characters come in there, man. I'm assuming this is, like I said, I don't know if this is going to lead to anything, man, considering, where was this going to be there originally, before James Gunn took over? Everything's kind of in a gray area. But for the post-credit scene, it definitely does set up a Shazam 3, where, now, I'm saying this as someone that's never read a Shazam comic line, so I have no idea what the fuck I was looking at here, where we have the villain from the first one coming, he's in his prison cell, and then this random caterpillar comes in there with, like, a voice modulator that makes him sound super evil and menacing, mentioning that he's, like, I guess trying to recruit him for something. I'm not gonna lie, I had no idea what I was watching, but I'm assuming this is building up to Shazam 3, so any Shazam fans watch this video, please elaborate and explain this in the comments on who the fuck this caterpillar dude is. Please. But yeah, that's about it I have for you guys for the sports question, man. There wasn't really that much to talk about, man, other than those couple scenes and of course the thing with Wonder Woman, man. But yeah, like I said, overall this was a really good movie, man. I had a blast watching it, man, and I thought it was a good time, man. So yeah. Anyway, guys, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Like if you did, subscribe for new. Follow me on my socials if you feel like it. Links down in the description box below. And as always, come back for more. See you guys next time.
She's